Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Well. We have a new vice presidential candidate, and it's none other than my governor of the great state of Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz. I am underwhelmed. Holy shit, Batman. It is one of those choices that I go, it maybe makes sense from Kamala Harris' standpoint because Tim Walz is her basically ideological soulmate in a sense. Tim Walz, good man, good father, but he wants to try to make Minnesota, California so bad. And I am just, if there is any left-wing policy or anything that you want to put out there, Tim Walz is your man. He will sign anything that's left-wing policy. And it's kind of crazy, some of the stuff that they've been doing here in Minnesota. I can't believe she picked him. Now, let me just put this. Tim, is from southern Minnesota. He was a teacher. He's kind of looks like this, kind of looks like a good old boy a little bit. He's Midwest governor, supposedly salts the earth. But they passed some crazy things in the Minnesota legislature once that they took power. And I swear to you, if this happens, if Kamala Harris becomes president, and Tim Walz is the vice president, and they happen to have a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House, this country's just screwed. The prospect is frightening. And I am just, I can't believe it. Plus, just the fact that Minnesota governors or Minnesota, Minnesota vice presidential candidates have never been good for the Democratic Party. If you think Mondale, Humphrey, and now Tim Walz, but that's not even it. You've got a San Francisco liberal running with a wannabe California liberal, even though he's from southern Minnesota. He grew up in Nebraska, I think. But he's lived in Minnesota for a long time, and he's been our governor this last term, and he's got this nut job lieutenant governor. God, if I had any reason to make sure I go out and vote for Trump in this election, is because we don't want his lieutenant governor to become governor either of the state. She's loony nut job. Holy hell. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we have, I have a governor that's is going to be running with Kamala Harris. And I am just, this is wild. Hopefully I'll be able to figure it. I have a, what do you call it? A Spaces channel open over on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, and I'm going to see if I can make this work. In fact, I see Scribe over in the chat over there, so I'm going to see if I can get this to work. I've never been able to figure this out. There we go. Let's see. Let's just prove Scribe as a speaker and see if this works. And I'd be happy to. Oh yes, it worked. How about you? All right, Scribe, Scribe, say something. Or something, maybe. Scribe, you there? Oh, I see you there. I made you speak. You have to unmute yourself. Is it not working? See, this is what pisses me off about X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Oh, he made himself a listener. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody and get this thing started because I got a lot. Plus, like Gunfox has already dropped a couple Hamiltons in the tip jar. Gunfox, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, Scribe. Or Scribe. Gunfox. I got Scribe on my mind. So we got a couple articles we're going to go to first, and then we're going to talk about Tim Walz. Anyway, let's say hi to everybody and get it going. First in chat today is Mr. Avocados Diabli, of course. Welcome, sir, as always. Also, good morning to Kara Soldier, Mike Savage, Blarg, number one is in the house. Unacceptable Views, Cannibalistic Wizards here. Also, good morning. Johnny, well, Johnny's always here. Tyler F's in the house. Johnny, we got to fix that link though. That's not the right link. Let me see if I can find the right one later. Here, I will put the right link. That's not it either. Why does the old Boomer Tech link show up and not the new one? It really annoys the hell out of me. Okay, we'll pin the donation link to the top today. Also, good morning to Dom O'Leary's in the house, Aaron Meredith, Lord Stanhope, Justin Wright, what's up? Good morning to Renee Mayette. Hello, good morning, my friend. Also, Patty O Furniture is in the house. And that looks about, Balin Bobby, what's up? Steph Kerner, what up, Steph? And Kay's in the house. What up, Kay? I hope you're doing well. P-Dog, check your text. I shall do that. Should I check it right now? And Scribe Light. Dog Thrapple. Let's see. Okay, Scribe, we're gonna try this again. I'm still trying to figure out how to use the damn spaces, but there we go. Scribe, see if that works this time. Because oh wait, it still says you as a listener. I want you as a invite to speak. Okay, there we go. I already got you. Does this work? The Twitter Spaces never worked for me on the good old desktop. Okay, there you are. And it's still not doing it. Okay, this is really, really annoying. Okay, invite to speak. Done. Is it still not working? Well, if you're on X, you're probably only going to get to listen today. Check right now. Oh, your coach hosted the Grift Report this afternoon. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Let me see here. Good morning. Oh, I should be able to. I'm usually not home during the Grift Report, but if I am, I will definitely call in. Cause yeah, our governor. Oh my God, he's just a loon. Anyway, thank you very much, Kay, for letting me know that. I'll do my best to try to get there. And Lady Boomer's going to be home today too, so maybe we'll both listen. Maybe we'll both call in. Although she doesn't pay attention to our governor like I do. All right. Shall we get started? First, we got to talk about a couple things Gunfox sent me because, we got to worry about. There are certain things in the world we got to worry about. Then we'll check into the trending topics, which almost all are related to the new vice president pick. So let's get this show on the road. First, check out a couple things Gunfox sent me here. What is that? Oh, I see. Never mind. So, now, as our world is burning with stock markets going down across the world, and now a lot of that too had to do with what happened in Japan. Japan's market really tanked, and that kind of got the ball rolling. Plus unemployment going up, employment going down, whatever it is. But now we're also concerned about what we talked about, World War III, right? Well, apparently Ukraine is crossing a line, according to Newsweek. This is an article Gunfox sent me. Ukraine is crossing another Russian red line. Russian military bloggers are downplaying the threat that F-16 jets delivered to Ukraine pose for Moscow's forces, contradicting earlier concerns voiced by pro-invasion voices that a, quote, red line, end quote, had been crossed for the Kremlin. Now remember.
Can you hear me?
Scribe, I do hear you.
I apologize. X and trying to set the microphone settings is just apparently goofy or something. So I had something to say about something you were talking about earlier. Now you moved on. So
I'm going to go back to it though.
Okay.
You're talking about my governor?
But the VP pick.
Oh yeah, that's the main topic there. I'm just getting through a couple Gunfox articles here. So
Sure.
So yeah, after that we're going right into it because everything trending today has to do with Governor Walz. So pretty much. So we'll get to that in a minute. So let's okay. So I'm going to mute for now, and then I'll unmute then when we get to it. Okay. All right. So let's get back to this article real quick. This one right here. All right. So Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Sunday that the long-awaited F-16s, which the Americans and a couple other countries are sending to Ukraine, had been received as he thanked Denmark, the Netherlands, and the U.S. This is fulfilling a pledge of President Joe Biden for the U.S. To allow allies to supply the American planes and help train the pilots. Kyiv has so far received 10 out of 79 jets, according to The Economist, which noted Ukrainian pilots could be flying twice as many as that by the end of the year. However, Russian milibloggers, which are military bloggers, I guess. Good morning, Green Badger Outdoors, by the way. Russian military bloggers downplayed the impact the Lockheed Martin jets, which can carry bombs, rockets, and missiles, will make on the battlefield. The Institute for the Study of War, which I didn't know there was an Institute for the Study of War, but I'm sure there is because there's think tanks for everything, said this stands by the pro-Kremlin war supporters who are important amplifiers of Moscow's invasion had undermined Russian operations to portray their arrival as an uncrossable red line. Now, when you say red line, I did mute myself. I'm sorry about that. Here, let's fix that. Thank you. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to mute myself on X here. All right. Where am I at here? And across the line. In its update on Sunday, the Washington, D.C. think tank said Russian commentators and officials often warn that giving Western weaponry to Ukraine breaches a red line that could force Russia into escalatory response. Robust air defense systems have meant that neither side has been able to achieve air superiority, said Peter Rutland, a Russia expert and professor at Wesleyan University. The F-16s would enhance Ukraine capacity to intercept Russian drones and helicopters used in support of their ground offensive. But they are not an overnight game changer that will trigger an escalatory response from Moscow, he told Newsweek. Now, since the start of Vladimir Putin's full-scale invasion, Ukraine allies, led by the United States, have calibrated their military assistance to avoid escalating conflict. I'm not so sure about that. But anyway, last year, Russia made 15 official red line statements compared with 24 made in the first year of its invasion, the Kyiv Post reported. Putin has said that the threat of nuclear action could happen if the red line of an existential threat to the state was crossed, although what this is has not been clearly defined. U.S. weapons to Kyiv graduated from Javelin and Stinger missiles to HIMARS, high mobility artillery rocket systems, and M777 howitzers. A warning by Moscow in September 2023 against the U.S. supplying longer range ATACMS missiles was ignored the following month. So we keep crossing red lines. In November 2022, former President Dmitry Medvedev warned against supplying Patriot missile systems, but their supply has not been met by a stern response by Moscow. Moscow also warned that no Western-made missiles can be fired into Russia, and Ukrainian cross-border attacks in December 2023 killed at least 21 people in the Russian region of Belgorod. These cases are among those that the ISW, that's again the Institute for the Study of War, said on Sunday showed how Moscow has repeatedly proving that referring to red lines is a reflexive control technique intended to force the West into self-deterring against providing Ukraine with any additional military aid. The ISW said Kyiv and its allies had crossed Russian self-determined red lines without significant Russian reaction, which Russian milblogger comment suggest will prove to be the case with Russia's response to F-16. So apparently the Russian military bloggers think that this is a fake red line, like a red line kind of like when Obama had the red lines, that, the red lines is all talk and no action. So that's an interesting article. Thank you, Gun Fox. And then the second one he has here, we also have tense waters in the South China Sea. Apparently, there's some conflict that the Philippines and Vietnam joining forces because of some of these tensions. In a significant move, the Philippines and Vietnam are conducting their first ever joint maritime exercises. Oh, goodness. These drills, set to take place on August 9th, aim to strengthen the cooperation between the two nations amid rising tensions in the South China Sea. The exercises are a direct response to China's aggressive actions in the region, which are both the Philippines and Vietnam's or where both the Philippines and Vietnam have territorial claims. The collaboration involves the coast guards of both countries. Vietnam's 90-meter ship CSB 8002 arrived in Manila on Monday, marking the beginning of 5 days of training with the Philippines' 83-meter offshore patrol vessel. So wait, like they have two ships between the two of them? I'm not sure what that... But anyway, BRP Gabriela Silang, that's the name of the ship. The joint drills will include search and rescue simulations and training in fire and explosion prevention. Explosion prevention? What's explosion prevention? Maybe I'm just Hello, old guy gamer. Nice to have you. Nice to have you on the show down here in YouTube land. So anyway, the initiative is part of a broader strategy to counter China's assertive behavior. China's new regulation allowing its Coast Guard to detain foreign nationals crossing maritime lines set by Beijing has added urgency to these exercises. The regulation has intensified maritime disputes in the region, making these joint drills even more critical for the Philippines and Vietnam. So that's interesting. So we're getting Vietnam and the Philippines joining together to kind of show a little strength by throwing maritime exercises, and the whole world's just getting ready for it, isn't it? Don't you? Is it just me, or is the whole world just getting ready for it? I gotta tell you, that's what it feels like. So, all right, now. A couple things trending, and then we're going to get to the main topic, because that's all I want to talk about today. And if you want to join, I'll put a link. Is there a way to send a link to the spaces? I don't even know how to do that. Let's see. Oh, share, copy link. If you want to get in on the spaces chat, I'm going to drop that link into the chat here, because I'm more than happy to take your questions or your comments on our new VP choice as we go through this. If you're only on Spaces, you guys will watch this on YouTube. The link's in my bio. I'll drop that in the Spaces over here. But anyway, moving on. Let's see a couple trending topics that I wanted to get to before we get into the main topic of Mr. Tim Walz, my governor. John Voight is trending. Apparently, he put a video out with the words "Civil War," and some people are saying he has. Here, I'll show you. Someone says, "Oh my God, he calls out Obama." Well, you mean because aren't we in Obama's third term? Something like that. That's a lot of people like to say. So here's John Voight. It's a 3-minute video. We can watch the whole thing. Doesn't take that long. Let's listen to John Voight. This has him trending on X still today, even though he posted this about midday yesterday. So here we go. John Voight on X with a post that he calls Civil War. The great actor John Voight.
My friends, this is the war of our lifetime now. We the people are in trouble if this nation picks Kamala Harris.
Okay, and this is
stop this crime that is happening. It's a war crime that Obama is directing, and Kamala Harris will be the cackling hyena that just listens and repeats.
Oh, good Lord.
If we do not stop this horror...
Wait. That's pretty harsh. Calling her the cackling hyena. But look, I don't believe that the office of the president right now is being run by the person who's in that office, and I can't say that it will necessarily be the same, any different when if this particular candidate also goes in, it'll be Obama's 4th term. But here we go.
You, my friends, will have the biggest horror that you will not know how to end. We must all see this truth. become one with this understanding that God will guide us with words of wisdom, that we may understand that Donald Trump will make any sacrifice to save America.
I hope
We,
so.
the people, are in danger.
Interesting he said that, because there's so many people that act like Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. And no audio of video on X? Are you serious? Hang on a second. Can you hear me talking on X? Because it's going through the same microphone. What the hell? No audio of video on X.
I can hear you fine on X. I can't hear the video on X.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. It should be. Can you hear it on YouTube? I'm pretty sure you guys can hear it on YouTube. Oh, what the hell's going on here? Hang on a second. Because it's playing through. Let's see.
And we must vote for President.
All right, give me 1 second here. I'll fix that. All right, guys, hang on a second. Let me fix that so you can hear it on X too. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Settings. So you can, hang on a second. So this is the challenge sometimes when you're doing something new, and I don't.
Trump, because he will save this nation, and the left are all afraid of his strength, because he is only for the people.
So you still can't
He's
hear
not
that
for
through the
power,
microphone on
the
X.
greed, the lies, or wanting to destroy one's hard-earned earnings.
Okay. All right. Let me pause.
We must stop this madness now. Our children are in danger.
I'm going to go back and play the rest. You can hear it on YouTube just fine. Okay, that's interesting, because everything goes through my microphone on X. Let's see, make sure I got the right. This one turned up. I do. And I have volume here. That's all the way up. There is no reason I can think of why you wouldn't be able to hear it on X. I apologize if you're watching on X. Which makes a problem, because also you got to be able to hear the other stuff I'm going to play today. Okay, so this is me trying something new. It doesn't always work when I try something new. Let's see, this output here is good. There's no good reason that this is not working on X. And it's on YouTube, it's just mono. Okay, hang on a second. That may be an issue with audio. Oh, well, here, maybe this is why. Let me try this. All right, now, can you hear me? You can hear me on YouTube still, right? Let's try this. X.
The left is trying to take away your children and turn them into non-binaries.
Did that help?
No, muffled
You
noises,
all
but no.
on the left, the ones who are my peers that preach, you all know who you are. What have you all learned in this life?
Okay.
Have you learned the lessons that will bring you to the higher place of eternity?
Let me try one more setting, and if not, then we're just going to have to watch it on YouTube.
This is now all your lessons. For each one who votes against Trump.
Okay, so the only other option here I'd have is, that makes no sense because it's going through here. Everything's plugged in. Oh, I know what it is. I just figured it out. Okay, let me go here. Let's see if this does it.
This will be among the worst crimes that you will see in your lives. And you know why?
All right. Could you hear that on X that time? Desktop audio. Oh, and this one too. That might be it. Let's try that.
This nation has criminals killing your child. father, brother, friend,
All right,
you,
can you hear that on X?
because of the left mentality allowing this border to be open.
What the hell?
The ones who are on the
I mean, there's
left
only
who fight
two of us
against
here in
Trump
X right now,
will
so
pay
you're
a
not
price
really
for the
both there.
injustice of
All right,
lies
we're just gonna,
that are Kamala Harris and
all right,
Obama.
so what we'll do,
And all of you who think this
that's something I'll have to test another time. But you can hear me talking on X, but you just can't hear the
Correct. Yeah, you're coming in clear.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to figure out that out another time. Got loud as fuck here though. Okay, yeah, I know why that happened. But it is in stereo back on let's see. Settings line. All right. Did everything get loud on YouTube? Okay, that's because I had two of these lines going. Let's turn that one back off, and we'll just figure the rest of this out later. All right, well, thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. Let's just go back to this now. I'm going to go back to...
It's a war crime that Obama is directing, and Kamala Harris will be the cackling hyena that just listens and repeats. If we do not stop this horror, you, my friends, will have the biggest horror that you will not know how to end. We must all see this truth, become one with this understanding that God will guide us with words of wisdom, that we may understand that Donald Trump will make any sacrifice to save America. We the people are in danger, and we must vote for President Trump because he will save this nation. And the left are all afraid of his strength because he is only for the people. He's not for the power, for the greed, the lies.
I think more that the establishment is what doesn't want Trump. That's what I think, because it is not just the left; it's the entrenched people. Because Trump, they can't necessarily buy Trump. And look, I don't agree with everything Trump believes, but I think he's far closer to my political philosophy and governing philosophy than the other two that are now a team over there. But the idea that he does what he wants because he doesn't have to worry about other people, buying him. So I don't know.
Or wanting to destroy one's hard-earned earnings. We must stop this madness now. Our children are in danger. The left is trying to take away your children and turn them into non-binaries. You all on the left, the ones who are my peers that preach, you all know who you are. What have you all learned in this life? Have you learned the lessons that will bring you to the higher place of eternity? This is now all your lessons. For each one who votes against Trump, this will be among the worst crimes that you will see in your lives. And you know why? This nation has criminals killing your child, father, brother, friend, you, because of the left mentality allowing this border to be open. The ones who are on the left who fight against Trump will pay a price for the injustice of lies that are Kamala Harris and Obama. And all of you who think this is the greatest economy, you will find that your life will sink into a hole of darkness, and the freedom we all once had will be burned in the dark plague of the darkest time in history, like the destruction of the Civil War. My fellow Americans, we've come too far. And this life we were given was the blessing of God. And this is our hope, to remember that he shall chant the words of Psalm 25 and in the Torah, Isaiah 55. We shall overcome. May God watch over us and bring this nation back together so her beauty will shine with her glory, the red, white, and blue. God bless America. And he will protect our nation against this evil left. And Donald Trump will make America great again.
All right, so
much love to you. Much love.
There you go. So there's John Voight. That's why he's trending. It's a little gloomy, but in some ways, it's like, wow, it is. I am quieter, aren't I? That's weird. Why am I quieter? Should I just yell more? Here, I'll talk closer to the mic and just be like this. Yeah, he went a little. Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of a little bit of hyperbole there, but still, I don't necessarily disagree with everything there, but yeah, he's a little hyperbolic there. So that's why John Voight is trending. Okay, let's move on. Nancy Pelosi is also trending. Now, I wasn't really sure which reason here, but here I saw. What here? In case you missed it, watch Nancy. This is Nancy Pelosi's daughter caught explaining how the Democrats are using lawfare to persecute and not prosecute their political enemies. So this is regarding the January 6th prisoners. Here's this one. Let's see. There we go.
Well, I think the one thing, if you drag it out, after the Democrats lose the House, and then they get rid of the committee, people may lose interest. The first trials are going to get a lot of attention. It's like anniversaries. The first one is a big deal. No one's going to care after the Democrats out of power. And then take Biden out of office, then who cares? If you drag it out long enough, I wouldn't go first for a trial. Because D.C. is a lot of people that work for the government. And it's a lot of... I don't think I'm sympathetic.
The jury.
The jury is going to
be... We don't need the trials to be held there.
Well, if you got moved, you totally get off.
Successfully move it? No, they won't move it. I mean, think about it. They'll resist it. They'll say, I've heard the hearing. They're going to say, how dare you say we're not fair? We're fair. And then it's very... The last time the government moved the trial was the Oklahoma City bomber. They agreed to move it to Colorado. So that's they stipulated. Even the Boston bomber case, which is now on appeal.
Isn't it wild how they're talking about
what do you mean
this?
It can't be
and
fair?
the motion gets decided by the judge.
How can we make it work the best for us, not how to get actual justice?
Not even the DC Circuit Court of Appeals, the Supreme Court. They might say, well, wait a second. You have politicians every night comparing it to Pearl Harbor, 9/11.
That was just
DC, they're under siege at the National Guard there for 7 months. If you live there, you're like,
so some days I tell him he got great legal. Sometimes I say 8 months was great, considering that the shaman who did not. I mean, what did the shaman do? He stood there. What did Paul do? He stood there.
And she's
the shaman got how many months?
Right,
41 compared to 8. So when I saw that, I was like, and I think that the government is going to go for more, that they're going to look to get bigger. Like people are criticizing
The
some
government's
of the
always look to get
people.
bigger.
A lot of people are getting.
The video's drowning out my mic, huh? Okay, well that's terrible. I got to figure out why. What did I do? Yes, stop pushing buttons, as Avocat Diabli said earlier. This shit's crazy. I mean, it's the vindictiveness of it. I'm not gonna play. You can watch the rest later if you want. I'm not going to, but also let's see. It also and people are making fun of Nancy Pelosi for the Pearl Harbor thing, or not Pearl Harbor, Mount Rushmore thing. She said yesterday that Joe Biden should be on Mount Rushmore. Here's a clip. I think making fun of that.
Who the hell invited this clown? It was Nancy Pelosi's idea.
Jesus Christ, this guy has never even heard of the Constitution.
I hold these things that, the thing. Anyway, I think I made a poopy.
Who the
And then whatever, 30,000. Trump officially broke to the left. What? 30,000 people showed up for him in the Bronx. Many black and Hispanics were there. Were they cropped into? This guy's right up there with Adam Kinzinger and Nancy Pelosi. Oh, this is somebody. You got 3 months of Trump. Okay, someone is. Oh, here we go. This is somebody here. Some representative. This is actually rap bastards, whatever that means. Also, please forgive us for thinking this guy who wears a girdle, shoeless, porcelain veneers, orange spray tan, dyes his hair, swirls around, and comes from a comb over, might be trying to deceive the audience. Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, because they were saying this guy at this rally.
The Harris campaign has said that she will be showing up to that September.
They have green screened in black people in the background. Look at the way that guy's head is separated from the background. It's like shapes.
so that may turn perhaps.
Oh,
Same as this dude.
He's claiming that people were green screened in the rally.
Look at his ear. His ear gets lost and then it shows up again.
Oh, Lord. Are you serious, dude? He turned his head. Your ears disappear when you turn your head. Oh, my God. Okay, that has nothing to do with Nancy Pelosi. Nobody knows. All right, let's get to the main news of the day because there's a lot to talk about regarding Governor Tim Walz. And I apologize that you can't hear the audio. Oh, shit. Well, that's not good. Everything went blank for a second on my screens. I apologize if you cannot hear the audio on X. I'm going to bring in Scribe to join me as we talk about Tim Walz. And, yeah, just a shitty camera. Oh, shoot, I'm muted there. Tim Walz is the choice by Kamala Harris to be the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. So now we have a candidate for the Democratic Party that hasn't been voted on by anybody and has never won an elector in a Democratic primary ever. And she's the candidate for the president of the United States. And she has chosen my governor, Governor Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota. So as you go on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. I'm going to pull this out I got to move this so I can see it because I can't, okay, what the hell? No, that's not what I want to do. I'm trying to put the screen out so that oh, wait, that's the wrong one. Oh, here we go. All right, I'm going to move the spaces to where I can see it so that if I can mute and unmute as necessary. Now that I know that I can get spaces to work on here, that can be my new call-in show source, though. That's good. As soon as I figure out how to do this shit. There we go. Alrighty then. Okay, now, so my governor, Tim Walz, is the new Democratic candidate for vice president. And some people are very excited, and some people are dreading the idea of that prospect. One being me, because my governor, the governor of the state of Minnesota, is the, I don't know if I want to say quintessential, but he is so far left and will sign anything that sounds like it's a progressive idea. And he does some pretty crazy things. For example, in my state of Minnesota, with the full Democrat legislature, full Democrat Senate, and a governorship, by the way, by one vote, okay, by one vote, they have a one-person majority, I believe, in the Minnesota Senate. And they have passed every left-wing wish list thing that you could think of regarding just about anything. Forcing companies to do 8 weeks paid leave or something like that. Forcing if you've heard of any of the transgender laws that the liberal states pass, we've passed all of them. They've passed for a law that all schools must supply, I believe, breakfast and lunch for all kids. Now, it sounds like a great idea. Oh, you're feeding hungry children. Yeah, you're also feeding the children of the kids out in Minnetonka, where the average home price is, $4 million. You're out, or Minnetrista, not Minnetonka. It's like every liberal left-wing idea that you would hear in California, they are working on passing in Minnesota. So, and look, I'm not anti-union, but like rabidly pro-union, rabidly anything LGBTQ. If you want to take the left side of that issue, that's what they've passed. And so as I open up this X trending topic, just Tim Walz himself, it's funny because remember, Minnesota is also the home of the George Floyd riots. Okay. It all started here. So the first thing now up here is obviously lit a TikTok saying this is Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz. where we have the fires going and the Minneapolis. And he was very slow to bring in the National Guard when it came to. I'm freezing here. Turn that volume down. Holy shit. He was very slow to call in the National Guard when all that was going on, the riot part. Now, look, and I don't care that there were BLM protests. In fact, we went down, Lady Boomer and I went down there just out of curiosity to see how the BLM protests, were like. But we went down there during the day. And it was the day after a lot of stuff burned down. But the riots, the protests themselves, wherever they were very peaceful. Until, let's just say dusk, okay? Then dusk comes around and shit started burning every day. But also the thing that the governor did here in this Democratic legislature, we had a fairly healthy surplus in our state as far as budgets. And they decided that not only were they going to spend every penny of this, it was like $1 billion plus surplus in our state when they came in. Not only did they decide to spend every penny of it on their left-wing wish list, they also decided to raise taxes in Minnesota because they wanted to do even more than the surplus was already going on. So as you scroll through this, here's just some examples of what people are saying about Tim Walz. And mostly I get a lot of people on the right and the left. So here you go. This is in Iraq. This is Minnesota under Tim Walz as governor. This is America if they win. Now, that's a little bit hyperbole too, because clearly there's not that shit going on now. Although you go down to Lake Street where the main fires and stuff were burning, there's still a lot of boarded up buildings and no-go places down there. But as I scroll down here, so here's one throwback. Governor Tim Walz is the governor who just changed the Minnesota flag to resemble a Somalian flag. Yes, they changed our flag. Now, I have, because they thought that the flag that was there beforehand, they felt that the flag was not...
All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute.
Not representative of the state of Minnesota. Now, the old flag had some prairie pioneer and had a Native American here doing something and whatever. This was the old state flag. And now that our state flag resembles several state flags in this
All right, ready.
country
Whoa,
of Somalia.
wait a minute.
So he takes that flag out, the flag that's been our state flag for probably 100, 140 years, and they bring in a flag that looks like this. This is Tim Walz. He thinks this was the greatest thing ever.
There, that's better.
Yeah.
All right, ready.
You're a
Whoa,
dork.
wait a minute.
You are a complete dork. So here's some similar flags. It looks so much like these flags in states of Somalia. And which is no surprise because we have a large Somalian population, but that's just that. As we scroll down, let's see. The Trump people move fast. They just dropped a blistering ad that exposes Tim Walz for putting tampons in boys' bathrooms. So this is one of those things. Remember I said it's left. He is very fond of the left-wing wish list. So here's an ad apparently the Trump team has already put out regarding Governor Tim Walz. So let's see this.
What could be weirder than signing a bill into law that requires schools to stock tampons in boys' bathrooms? Or weirder than signing legislation allowing minors to receive sex change operations? Try electing the man who signed those bills, Vice President of the United States. Enter Chief Weirdo Tim Walz.
Yeah, now, by the way, Tim Walz is the guy who came up with the weirdo thing. And I apologize, Silence One. I don't believe the audio for these videos are coming out on X. I do not know why. I can't figure it out. It should be coming through my microphone, but it's not. And maybe I have the wrong microphone set up. That might be it. Let me check settings here. I just thought of that. Space settings. That ain't it. That might be why. Maybe it's just coming through my microphone without. No, there's no way to find that out. There's no way to find that out. I can't Jesus. Is there a way to... Nope, there's no way to do it. So I apologize. I think it's just it's coming through the wrong speaker on X, and I have no way to fix that. Unfortunately, unless I don't know how to fix the settings. So, oh wait, maybe here. Oh, here we go. Maybe I can fix it here. Ah, got it. There we go. That should fix it. That should fix it. Just had the wrong microphone set up. There we go. All right. Now, can I get back? How do I get back to fucking X, though? This is maddening, I tell you. This is maddening. All right. Did the space die? All right. There we go. We're back. Now you should be able to hear everything. Now let's play this.
As governor of Minnesota, Walz supported legislation that endangers minors, hurts women, and puts radical ideology ahead of common sense. Now Kamala wants Walz to enforce those laws on a national scale. Tim Walz, too weird, too radical.
What's that?
Still cannot hear it.
Still cannot hear it. Jeez.
No.
That's very annoying. I've got the right microphone selected and everything. Okay, well, again. Okay, am I done? That is really, really frustrating. It even has... Oh, is there a place to save this? All right, well... I'm gonna have to experiment with this another time because I have it set right, and it says it's playing, so I don't know what to do about it. All right, if you want to hear the audio on these videos, you're gonna have to go to YouTube. Anyway, so now it's interesting because when they say that Tim Walz is too weird, Tim Walz is the first, I think, might be the first person who came up with the Democrat talking point of J.D. Vance being weird, or they're weird. And it's very ironic because Tim Walz is well, like he said, that, you know, the idea that you're going to force schools to put tampons in bathrooms, I think that's weird. I mean, maybe you don't think that's weird, but for most of the country, I think that would be weird. And a lot of legislation that Minnesota's passed over the last couple of years that most of the country would find weird, I don't think is going to help Kamala Harris at all. And again, my whole thing is you already have Kamala Harris, who at one time was called the most liberal senator in the United States Senate. And now you have Tim Walz, who passes all this weird shit, running together. At some point, this ticket is going to have to be burdened by what has been so that we do not find out what can be. You know, that's my favorite line. So anyway, again, then you have this video of Minneapolis before and after Tim Walz.
It's just a cigarette and it cannot be that bad. Honey, don't you love me?
I gotta mute that because I don't want the music playing, and I probably already got the copyright thing. But this is the video before and after. Let me put the link on X here after I show that. So it's showing just the different things that were burned down before and after. This is that, and that building is still blocked off. That building does no longer exist. That Popeyes was destroyed. The Perkins is gone, not rebuilt. They've taken it down since. This corner, I think that's the corner. Yeah, that building was completely on fire. That building's gone. So anyway, hello bookworm addict who says, laughing my ass off, my narcissistic daughter just called me a fascist and said if I hit her, I'm in for it. Someone got up the wrong side of bed. Okay. Hello, Lady Kara. It says at least there will be some in the building now. We skipped over several women's rights to get this ghastly step. That's, well, yeah. I've always been confused. I guess I'm not against it, but I'm always confused why we should give free products to anybody. But it is what it is. But the idea that that you're going to put them in the men's rooms is just strange. It's weird to most people. Now, some people who are fine-tuned in this ideology, the gender ideology stuff, they may not see it as weird because they're the ones who quickly tell you men can menstruate. But no. It depends. If you define men as male, which for a millennium and more, 10,000 years, we've defined it that way. No matter what language you put it in, there is physiology that tells you one or the other, right? We have machines, but they're never stocked and pretty good, like getting a quarterback. Oh, so you have to pay a quarter for them. So okay, I get it. If people, that's an industrious capitalistic convenience if you are paying for them, but they're never stocked, so then you're fucked because you don't get your quarterback. Let's see, what else? What are people saying about Governor Tim Walz? We're just gonna scroll down this little thing here. So this is someone, Mike Murphy, who ran for governor in Minnesota in 2022. He said, my campaign put together this video montage of Tim Walz's first term failures. Enjoy the highlight reel as the worst vice president in our history is about to pick the worst, most careless governor in history as a running mate. So this was Mike Murphy who ran against Tim Walz. And I apologize for you on X who can't hear this. I don't know why.
I've just signed Executive Order 20-01 declaring a peacetime state of emergency for the state of Minnesota. We need to stop congregating. We're going to close the bars. We're going to close the restaurants. We're going to close the places where we gather.
Oh, yeah, I think this was during COVID when we closed down Minnesota. I'll tell you what, I spent some time out in Western Minnesota during the COVID years, the first year of COVID, because, we had some friends who had a place out there. And people outstate Minnesota can no longer stand our governor. It's really wild. Minnesota was so dominated by the DFL. In Minnesota, they call it the Democratic Farmer Labor Party. And the outstate Minnesota was just as Democrat supporting as the Twin Cities and Rochester and Duluth. Not anymore. I've seen so many Trump signs every time I leave the Twin Cities. I see them particularly in rural or even rural towns. If you go up, North Branch is about 45 miles north of Twin Cities. I see Trump signs everywhere. Anywhere you travel, other than, like I said, the Twin Cities, Rochester, and Duluth, like St. Cloud, everywhere, Trump, Trump, Trump. You go down to Mankato, Trump country, even though there's a college there. And it's just, it's just wild. Anyway, let's watch the rest of this ad.
Several 100,000 of your neighbors were just laid off. An entire industry has been shut down in the face of this, all for the greater good.
Oh, and there's those words. What my favorite words that liberals use. For the greater good. For the greater good. Yeah. Welcome, William Cause and Silence One. I apologize for not being able to hear the video on X as I'm playing this. The show's on YouTube. In fact, I should probably put the link in there so you can go be there too. I'll do that in a minute.
Governor, with the power of the state constitution behind him, has issued 104 executive orders affecting everything from schools to restaurants and bars to churches to basically every facet of everyday life.
Democrats who control the House are moving in the opposite direction. Some are pushing to put a mask mandate in state law.
Hi ho the Dario, I wear a mask to school. It helps to keep me safe.
explosive testimony from a Minneapolis police union official who says that the governor ordered cops to abandon that 3rd precinct during the spring's rioting.
I was in the command post. I heard it. I heard the governor say, give it up.
At 9:32, Chief Arredondo calls the mayor to tell him they've lost control, can no longer maintain order in the city. And then at 10:13, Chief Arredondo, who's monitoring the scene from a couple blocks away, gets on the radio to announce defeat.
Get a citywide tone right now in our loss of the 3rd precinct.
The 3rd precinct has been compromised.
The mayor said I request the National Guard. Ooh, I'm out. This is great. We're going to have massively trained troops. No, you're going to have 19-year-olds who are cooks.
So, he described the National Guard as 19-year-olds who are cooks. That's interesting. So as we scroll down a little more, they already got a couple of people put the tampon ad. Here's another one. There it is. Tim Walz admits he's a socialist and calls it neighborly. He wants open borders, gun control, driver's license for illegal aliens. Yeah, they signed. That's another one. Governor Walz signed a bill by the Democrats that won by 1 vote in the Senate to allow illegal border crossers, people who are not in the country in any legal sense, to get driver's license. And what does that do in Minnesota? When you get a driver's license in Minnesota, you also get motor voter. And they will not check your citizenship to give you the ability to vote in elections in Minnesota because the Democrats will not allow that. You don't have to prove your citizenship. So not only can you get a driver's license, but hey, can you say you're a citizen? You can just say whatever you want and you will be able to vote in Minnesota. So that's another thing. So here's another Tim Walz greatest hit. This is him talking about being a socialist is just being neighborly.
But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Oh, okay. But does it work, Tim? Does it work as it is intended? That's the problem. If you want to be neighborly and you want to have your own little commune where you can share everything and everybody has to, to each, whatever that phrase is, to each as his abilities and whatever, to each as they need. If you want to have a little socialist commune and you're, buy some land, in fact, Tim, we can take your farm. Let's take your farm. And you can have your own little socialist commune there, and everyone can just share everything. And if some people don't want to work, they don't have to. They can still come and eat, and then some can do all the work. And then you'll find that the experiment will piss off half the people who live there because they're doing way more than their fair share. You can do that where you want to live. But it doesn't work in large scales. Socialism works in very small scales. Socialism works in your nuclear family. See, that's kind of a socialist arrangement. There's parents and kids, and there's a family, and y'all, the parents do a little more and the kids do less, and everyone works out. But once you get it beyond a few dozen people, socialism just turns into shit because people start to realize that some people aren't holding their own. Okay? And it just doesn't work. So you can do that in your own house, but leave us alone. Here's another one. Here's Tim Walz signing as he signs a law that provides driver's license for illegal aliens in Minnesota. So excited to do this. Here's Tim Walz signing that bill.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
And did you hear what? Now, these are all leftist Democrats around him, and Peggy Flanagan, the nut job lieutenant governor here. What did they go? What was the chant they went into? Was it "Si se pueda"?
After the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
I don't even think they're pronouncing it right. Maybe they're saying something else. I don't know. Let's see. Here's Governor Walz. Oh, and then Governor Walz also accused people of banning books. I'm not going to put the pictures on here. You're daily reminded that when they accuse us of banning books, they're referring to pornographic books, which are offered to kids in schools across the country. Yeah, he's very critical of that. He calls it banning books. Kyle Becker, the media buzz is rising. Kamala Harris is selecting Minnesota governor. Who is Tim Walz? Let's take a quick look. Fueled the BLM riots in 2020. Well, I wouldn't say he fueled them. He certainly, he seemed to have failed to exacerbate them. Or wait, exacerbate that. That's the wrong word. He's quell them. What am I talking about? I'm Joe Bidening. Sorry. Also, well, he said rioters looted and wrecked Minneapolis. Well, not all of Minneapolis. Again, remember, this is one main street along Minneapolis in the what's known as the Uptown area, where most of this took place. There was some damage downtown, but most of it was in the Uptown area, and then in the area where George Floyd was, where he died. But mostly in Uptown, because that's where most of the protests were, and they destroyed a good 15 city blocks of shit. I mean, just burning and looting and whatever. Also, changed Minnesota state flag to resemble Somalia's. Killed old people with COVID nursing home scandal. Minnesota, a groomer-friendly LGBTQIA sanctuary state. Pushed youth trans surgery, hormone therapy agenda. Soldiers accused Walz of embellishing and selectively omitting facts about his military career. Few soldiers accused him of quitting on them. Got a DUI in 1995, going 96 miles an hour in a 55 speed zone. And he praises socialism. Is he the perfect running mate for Kamala Harris? Abso-fucking-lutely. There's our... Oh, that flag looks like a butthole. No, our flag, it just looks similar to a Somali flag. This is supposed to be the North Star that represents lakes and all this stuff. But you ask any of the Somalian population around here, and they'll tell you that it does look like several flags in Somalia. Hello, Jethro Headower, by the way. Welcome. Let's see. Sounds like a perfect match. Get ready for get ready for the Harris Walz ticket. It's going to be a barn burner. That's some satire there. So anyway, let's move on to some things that are trending because Tim Walz is the new choice for Kamala Harris. So, what's that? Let me move this off. Sorry. So Kamala's VP is trending, and I guess I don't have to hide these at all. Kamala's VP is trending, getting a lot of the same images and criticisms of Tim Walz. Oh, by the way, last year Tim Walz signed an executive order that made Minnesota a sanctuary state for child gender medicalization. Now they use the word abuse here, but I suppose you could say that's synonymous in this case when you're talking about child gender medicalization. And this is this state legislator, this male human that Steve, hi Steve Dees, what's up? Harris Walz sounds like a lot of people can't dance around that one. No, they can't. This is one of our state legislators who I can't remember the legislator's name, but here's what happened.
Also standing in that sea of people, a parent, transparent about his family.
My partner Gretchen and I are here today because
we get a lot of praise because we're so special people for allowing our child to transition.
As we are parents of a trans child.
Their child is 6 years old, and she was as excited to be at a boring capital on spring break as any 6-year-old kid could be. Squirming and fidgeting her way through speeches, hardly aware her existence as why her parents drove 5 hours.
Okay, you know that these people get so much praise. I'm gonna guess it's kind of I'm sure it's an adrenaline rush for them to be excited about teaching their young male child that he's a girl.
Today to speak publicly.
It's 100% personal. I mean, the safety, the happiness of our child is it couldn't be more personal.
Asher, why are we here today?
For trans rights. For her rights to be her. As you can see from this interview.
And what does that mean to a 6-year-old? How does this 6-year-old know this? Does the 6-year-old just want to be like mommy for a while and then it wears off in puberty? Or are they going to actually medicalize this child as they start going through those changes? And it saddens me. I got to tell you, it just saddens me.
View. I can't force my kids to do anything here. Asher has trusted us enough. She believes in our love enough that she has invited us in to see her whole self. And if we don't love her that much, the opposite would happen, where we wouldn't get to know everything about her. And so we're lucky, we're blessed, and we love her.
So much they came to the people's house.
It's a 6-year-old. The child has no idea what that means. I can't even watch that anymore. Hello, Selected Boy. How you doing? Yeah, boy. So anyway, other things trending because of Tim Walz, Kamala and Tim. I don't need to go through this. Minnesota governor, because he is the Minnesota governor. Midwestern, that's another one. Now, interesting. Matt Whitlock says, for every catastrophic California law that hurt the state, Minnesota had their own copy of it within just a few years. Immigration, sanctuary cities, climate. That's why Kamala picked Tim Walz. He puts a non-Jewish Midwestern face on her terrible and destructive policy ideas. Again, Tim Walz and the Minnesota legislature. What the hell? What the hell? Why is that doing that? Why do I have to change this every freaking time? Well, here we go. Thank you, John Cougar Mellencamp. Putting I already know what's coming. I'm not even going to look at it. It's going to have something to do with this. And the walls come tumbling down, and the walls come tumbling down. Yeah. Right? I'm going to guess. Now, let me go look after I fix this. Let's do a proper notification for that. Un momento, por favor. I shouldn't have to change that every time. I got to figure out how to make that a permanent change. But here we go. There, almost. Come on. Here we go. And there's the proper alert. John Cougar Mellencamp put a small bulletin tip jar, 223, saying, fingers crossed I get some royalties from them using my song Crumbling Down when the walls come tumbling down, when the walls come crumbling. Yes, I knew that was coming as soon as I saw John Cougar Mellencamp. Oh, Scribe, I apologize. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to bring in Scribe here. Let's go ahead and unmute yourself and let's talk for a minute, Scribe, as I go through some more.
Hey there.
Hi there.
Yeah, so I've been following Kamala Harris in different ways for the last couple of years on my channel. I've got a whole playlist of live streams looking at articles because I've always been morbidly curious up until recently as to what would happen if Biden had a problem that required her to take over, and sort of watching the coverage of her, especially with her evolution as a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And, she failed presidential candidate, was basically plucked from oblivion by Biden on the basis primarily of her race and gender. And then he has to give her something to do. And what does he give her? He gives her border czar, which doesn't work out all that well. And for the last 3.5 years or so, she's basically been pushed to the sidelines because she's terrible in public speeches. She's terrible in interviews. And she brings nothing to the table because Biden didn't pick her for her political acumen or her charisma. He picked her because of her appearance and what that carries for optics and and to make history.
Right.
So now with Kamala in the driver's seat, Walz out of the final list of people that she had, Walz was really her only choice. She can't pick Beshear because Beshear is more popular than she is. Mm-hmm. You got to remember that Biden didn't want to pick a VP who was going to outshine him, and she doesn't want to pick a VP that's going to outshine her. So Beshear can't be the guy. Kelly could not be the guy because you can't have an astronaut someone who's actually accomplished something meaningful is more impressive as a citizen than she is on the ticket.
Ooh.
And she can't pick Shapiro because of the political, I guess, problems, but also because he's got this weight of this quote-unquote suicide on his record that would just become the soup du jour. You got to remember, there's only 90 days left or so until the election, so they can't waste any time on frivolous or side issues. So she picks the one guy who is the oldest white guy of the bunch,
right,
and a true believer.
Except,
So I mean,
let me hang on though.
Yeah.
When you say he's the oldest white guy of the bunch,
mm-hmm.
Tim Walz and I are the same age.
Well, but
I'm
here's
just
the thing.
But I'm
but
hoping
the optics,
that I don't look as old as him.
Yeah. No. But I mean, the optics of you have a woman of color having subservient to her an old white guy is not a bad look when you're talking about the optics of things. But as far as like the message, and you just been going down the litany of his policy decisions and his legislation.
It's straight out.
Take
of
Kamala take Kamala at her word. This is the guy she wants there, who's not going to oppose anything she says and who believes in the things that she believes in. And so, he's the perfect candidate because he doesn't overpower her in popularity or charisma, because most people don't even know this guy. Never even heard of this guy. I mean, I think the last time I heard Tim Walz's name was, like you said, back in 2020 during the riots. But aside from that, it's like I'm just learning about him now. So he doesn't have a profile that supersedes hers, and she only has a profile because she's the vice president, not for any of her previous accomplishments.
Right.
So when it came down to the final list of 4 people that everybody's talking about, he really was the only one she could pick and not like totally ruin her own standing and have somebody who would be a yes man to everything she has to do.
Yeah, no, she is, and like I said, when she is the quintessential California liberal,
mm-hmm.
and you're right. Because I hear about Tim Walz all the time because I live in Minnesota.
Sure.
And everything they bring up, everything they try to pass, it's like it's straight out of Compton. You know, I mean, for a catch a phrase, it's all straight out of California. I mean, all these bad laws that California is passing, Minnesota is trying to pass all the same shit that Lee, whatever this weirdo transgender legislator brings up, Lee Fink, that's her legislature name. Basically, I think they travel to California and say, okay, what laws have you passed that you got through on the, they're not by the hair of your chinny chin either. Here they do it by one vote, and it's straight party line vote every time. Because they have a one-person majority in one of the chambers, and a majority in both chambers, and the governor. So they pass everything they want by one vote, and it's all this just crazy shit. I mean, the one with the look, the school lunches is the one that really got me starting to pay attention, because they're doing it in every school district in the state. Now, there are school districts in the state where probably like I said, the median home value is over $1 million, and they're requiring it in those public schools. It's like, why? Wait a minute. There's a whole lot of people who can just feed their own kids. Why are we spending everyone's money on school lunches? I understand we've always taken care of the poor kids or kids who couldn't afford their, or needy kids. We've always done that here. I mean, it's a very liberal state. We've always taken care of the needy kids. And you want to make it a law that we have to feed everybody's kids? Why are you feeding my kids? I've fed my kids all through their school years. No problem. And so why are you burdening the taxpayers with that? And just some of the crazy legislation regarding the transitioning of kids, medicalization of kids for all kinds of things. And so he's the perfect governor or perfect vice presidential candidate, because he'll fill in the blanks if something happens to her. And
he's a Midwest. I mean, they're trying to make Minnesota the Bay Area of the Midwest, and so they really could. And she has to bring in someone from Middle America because otherwise, she's just a California liberal, and most people. I mean, remember, she couldn't even carry her own state in the primaries back in 2020.
Nope.
She wasn't even popular enough to get her own people to back her up in the primary, and she wasted $40 million on her campaign. This is I think I said it on Twitter yesterday. This is the second time that Kamala Harris has not won a primary and yet is still on the road to the White House.
Right.
I'm dying. I am dying for her to finally have, because she hasn't yet since being selected as the nominee, for a press conference or a one-on-one interview without any script, or an actual debate, which apparently seemingly isn't going to happen now because everybody keeps bowing out of it or trying to dodge it. And the other thing too, and just one more note before I split, I got to get back to work. As far as I know, as of this broadcast at least, and days and weeks now into her campaign, she has still not put up a policy platform on her website.
She has not.
We still don't know officially what her positions are on any of the key issues. So people just have to be going back to quotes that she's made in the past on particular things to try to derive what it is that she stands for and what she's going to do and what her plans are. So this entire thing seems like, and like I said, if you want a preview of what her office is being run like and what a presidential office might be run like, on the very first video on my Kamala playlist, you can listen to me talk to it, or you can go to the link in the description. There is an article from CNN back in 2021 that talks about her first few months in office as vice president. The article is a novella. I didn't know how long it was when I first started reading it, and I say so in the broadcast. It is a novella, tell-all, expose, the kind of thing you would see after an administration wraps up, where everybody feels safe giving out all the gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Utter and absolute chaos and incompetence in her office. Now, maybe in the interceding 3 years or something's changed, she's reformed or whatever. But if you want to see what a Kamala presidency might have looked like if she had been there in the beginning, take a look at that. And I have a feeling, given what I've seen so far and elsewise, things haven't changed that much. If she becomes the president, I can't even imagine how much more insane things are going to get. But just this campaign ahead of that, I am morbidly curious to find out how much this goes into a disaster area. But anyway, I got to split. Thanks for having me on, P-Dog.
Hey, appreciate you putting some input. And I have Scribe's playlist of Kamala Harris,
yes,
both in the chat, and I'll have it in the links today. So if you want to check,
appreciate it. Thank you, P-Dog. Yeah, people, if you're curious about anything, take a look at that. And especially read the articles that I reference on those streams. The press on her, even from outlets that would be sympathetic, claw to try to find compliments that make any sense for her record or her performance as vice president, which is stunning, honestly. But anyway, everybody have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Thank you, sir, very much.
Yeah.
So it's funny that he mentions, too, you need to have a Midwest. He's trying to get a Midwest. If you notice, there was something very in common about all the potential VP picks. And it was almost as if Joe Biden had taught Kamala Harris how to choose VP picks, that you must choose a demographic first and then invite them all over, because all of them were white men, which is funny. But now the other day, though, we thought it was going to be Josh Shapiro, right? And the mayor of Philadelphia put out this video, and they're already talking about their vice presidential pick, Josh Shapiro. There was a little backlash about that, so we'll get to that in a second. But here's on the screen, though. I'm going to put this: Minnesota Democrats on presidential tickets, Humphrey, Mondale, and now Walz. Well, here's how the first one worked out. This was when I need full screen there. This is when I think this was Humphrey when he was the vice presidential candidate on a ticket. Oh no, this is when he ran for president, because that was in '68 when Johnson dropped out. Didn't go well for them. And then you had Walter Mondale, the vice president under Jimmy Carter, ran against Reagan. That did not go well. So that's the Minnesota history. Now Humphrey was a vice president for a while, I believe, but Anyway, Other things trending, though. That's the Mondale thing. That's why Mondale is trending. Also, Minnesota governor's trending because he's the governor of Minnesota. We've also got Midwestern because, yes, you need, if you're going to have a California liberal, a West Coast liberal as your presidential nominee, you got to have someone from the Midwest to hopefully get some Midwest common sense. Except this particular Midwesterner spends all of his time attempting to be California. And again, there are a lot of people bringing up the driver's license for illegal aliens, which most people don't agree with. But again, Minnesota legislature, both houses controlled by Democrats, won by one vote, and that particular piece of legislation, which a lot of Minnesota legislation gets voted on, won by that one vote. Like, man, the land of 10,000 mosquitoes, more like 10 billion mosquitoes. Also trending because of the governor is National Guard. Again, people are talking about, this was the moment. This was Julio Rojas, who was out in the streets in Minneapolis. This was the moment I filmed in 2020 when BLM rioters attacked Minneapolis police as they evacuated the 3rd precinct under Governor Walz leadership. And despite days of rioting, the Minnesota National Guard had not fully deployed at that point. So people are talking about how he didn't get the National Guard out in a timely manner. Let's see. Oh, Chris Farley is trending. Now, some people are saying this is Governor Tim Walz, who lives in a van down by the river. If you're familiar with Chris Farley, you get that. And unfortunately, Chris Farley's not around to play Tim Walz on Saturday Night Live. And so Steve Martin is also trending because some people think Steve Martin should be brought back to Saturday Night Live specifically to play Governor Tim Walz. Now, here's the funny thing about that. They will not do anything to criticize Tim Walz. And I'm very curious. And they want Maya Rudolph to come back to be Kamala Harris. Do you think they will make fun of her penchant for word saladry, let's call it? Do you think they will come? Do you think they'll do that? Do you think they will dare do the funny things that Kamala Harris does? I mean, will they be able to resist? How do you resist? How can you even have her as a character on SNL and not make fun of the laugh and make fun of the laugh at things that you shouldn't be, that there's no reason to laugh at? Do you think they'll make fun of the word salad that she continually makes? Will they even talk about being unburdened by what has been or something like that? No, will they do that? Will Saturday Night Live dare make fun of Kamala Harris? I don't know. I doubt it. Freedom Tunes did. Yeah, Freedom Tunes did a good job of that. So anyway, then the other trending, he's 60. Now, look, Tim Walz, I get it. I'm 60. Tim Walz is 60. Oh, by the way, a lot of people are bringing up the fact that, yes, he had a DUI. Here it is. Since Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is officially being reported as favorable to be the VP pick for Kamala Harris, here he is pictured from his DUI arrest where he was going 96 miles an hour in a 55 zone. He then lied to police about being deaf in an attempt to avoid his arrest. Now, that obviously hasn't hurt him in Minnesota because he's the governor. But a lot of people are like, they're saying he's 60, I'm 27. Now, look, I'm 60 years old. I know lots of 60 years old, and he looks like a typical 60-year-old, okay? I just look young for my age. But people just don't understand what people look like at certain ages. Some people saying he's looking older than Trump. Well, Trump looks pretty good for being his age, okay? And Trump moves around pretty good for his age. So people are talking about he's 60. The other things, Peggy Flanagan. Now, here's one of the reasons that, oh my God, please do not elect Kamala Harris to be president and take Tim Walz from us, because as bad as Tim Walz is, our Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, is worse. is worse. So this is when they pulled down the statue of Christopher Columbus outside the state capitol, okay? Walz Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan's response to this was, quote, "I can't say that I'm sad that the statue of Christopher Columbus is gone. I'm not." Now, granted, Peggy Flanagan is Native American or half Native American, whatever. She came from one of the. She actually grew up on a reservation. She's not like she's not like Elizabeth Warren. She actually has Native American roots, and in fact, some of the lefty shill sites or shill accounts like Call to Activism here is excited that if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz wins the election, Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, a fellow Democrat, would become Minnesota's next governor. She would be the first female governor in Minnesota and the first Native American woman to serve as governor in the country. Now, I know our Supreme Court is worse. Our Supreme Court sucks too. But and there's another one. I'm excited about Walz and just as excited about future Minnesota Governor Peggy Flanagan, who would be the first Native American woman to serve as a governor and who got her start in politics at 25 years old as a school board member. Building a diverse bench pays off. She's culturally just a regular old Minnesotan, except for she's as far as left as it can get. And she's a goofball too. Here's, like, for example, this is Peggy Flanagan. Protect trans kids. Now, I'm curious, when she decided that she would wear this shirt, what's the knife mean there? A big old knife. Protect trans kids. Is that the knife that's going to be doing the surgeries, or is that a knife threatening people with violence? I'm curious. I'm curious. So again, big news for Native Americans, as the Democratic pick for VP means Peggy Flanagan would presumably become the next governor of Minnesota. There has never been a Native female governor of a state. People excited about that. And boy, everyone's talking about that. So, but that's not a reason. Again, is that a reason to vote to have Peggy Flanagan be our governor? Is the fact that Kamala Harris is black the reason to vote for her? Because that's seems to be the only qualification that anyone cares about, that she's a black woman and Indian. Call center, not casino. So anyway, Tim Kaine is trending because people are comparing Tim Walz to Tim Kaine as a super left-wing liberal governor that becomes the the nominee. Let's make Tim Walz the Tim Kaine of Joe Lieberman's. Yes, we do not want him either. All right, that's it. I'm out of time, and but I do want to thank you all. Thanks for, if you're watching on X, I'm gonna end that. Oh, Silence One, I apologize. Did you want to? I didn't know if you wanted to talk or not. That's an experiment on X. I got to figure out how to make video or audio go onto X. I'll figure that out later. But that's all I'm going to do today, guys. Go brush up on Tim Walz. I'm just saying. Because I'm going to end the space here. Go brush up on Tim Walz and learn about what we've done here in Minnesota. And you will completely understand why Kamala Harris chose him. He's absolutely on board with every left-wing idea, and the government should do everything, and the corporations should pay more. It's funny because they always talk about how, well, Donald Trump is proposing a 10% tariff on all goods coming from overseas, foreign-made goods, and that's going to raise, the cost of living, and that's going to do this and that. Aren't you the party that wants to raise corporate taxes by 20%? Aren't you the ones who want to raise it? So if raising tariffs on foreign goods would raise the cost of, things you buy in America. Wouldn't raising taxes on corporations do the same thing? But you seem to not be so concerned about that. So anyway, guys, I got to go. Thanks for everyone who helped promote the show today. That would include Green Badger Outdoors, Scribe Light, Tyler F., Somnable Nation, and that's everybody. Thank you for doing that, and thanks for everyone who sponsored the show, Gunfox and John Cougar Mellencamp. AD, thank you. And that's it. I gotta go. After the stream, you can share the stream and all that stuff, and I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thanks for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.